Hello, and welcome into the Piles of Paragraphs creative space. I'm Lori, and today we are going to work on, sorry, the distraction Sid jumped in the middle of one of my boxes. We're going to work on another Mass Make March. This will be my last Mass Make March. And I wish I could say I'm sorry, but I'm really not. I have found this to be rather a challenging topic, but I'm glad I did it. And so today I am going to do some of the collage strips that Margaret of Seven Plaza did for one of her Mass Make March videos. Rachel recently used some strips that she had that were like strips off old documents and strips off digitals that had printing on them. Well, I have, as you can see, tons of these white strips because they're what I take off of the edge of digitals and that kind of, mostly digitals, I guess. But they're just very plain. And I've got lots of scraps. This is just a tiny, trust me, tiny amount of the scraps that I have that are piling up everywhere around me since I started doing videos. I've got more scraps. So anyway, let's just get started on this. For my glue page, I'm using, old printing that I had from years ago. Just going through the stack this morning and actually found some of the information from the job that I used to have. I think I'm going to do these. Let's see. Distraction. You know what? I'm going to move this over here a little bit. Put this on here. Let me see. Can you see that pretty well? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I usually like to do kind of neutral things. When Margaret did hers, she did them where they really hung off and she trimmed them, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it exactly the same way or not. But I'm gonna get some strips going and apparently not be quite so rough with the glue because I tore this one. It's okay. And let's see, what else have I got in here? Oh, there's a little bit of typewriter, typed text. Add that in here next. I think these will be very handy, not only for like belly bands and stuff like that, but sometimes you just need a little strip of something to add to a project you're working on, and I think these will be really, really nice for that. Because it doesn't all have to be book page, it can be other scraps that you have. This is a piece of note paper that has a very faint pattern of a map on it. Kind of goes with this. Let's see, what else we got in here? I promised myself I wasn't going to be picky. I was just going to grab things and put them down. So we'll see how I do. I did write down the time we started, so hopefully I won't get lost in the process and keep you here too long. Okay, one more little piece for down here. Oh, not quite wide enough. Piece of this green masking paper, painter's masking paper, which I have a whole roll of this, and I need to put it somewhere so that I remember to use it, because I don't use it very often. Okay, Here's one strip we'll set aside to dry. But hopefully not have Sid jump up on it like he did a few minutes ago. This page. It's kind of a partially cloudy day here in Arizona. See the sun is peeking out a little bit, but I see some clouds to the north there outside my window. I think we're supposed to have rain on Sunday, which I'm filming this what is today? Thursday. Almost said Friday, the Thursday before Easter. So hopefully it won't rain out everybody's Easter egg hunts or whatever sort of fun festivities they have planned. We generally always have very low-key holidays. Just my husband and I, and let's see, this time we're gonna have a ham. We've got a ham from Costco. So my husband's going to make my dad's potato salad recipe that I talked about I think it was in one of the Marguerite Miller challenge videos. My dad, and I'm sure you probably already heard this story, but I'll tell it again. My dad retired several years before my mom did, and he actually retired earlier than what he thought he was going to. My dad worked in the mining industry, and the mining industry always is a bit up and down. When things are good, things are good. When things aren't good, things aren't so good. And so they were doing a lot of cutting back, and they offered some very nice early retirement packages. And my dad was able to take advantage of that. I think, gosh, what was he? Must have only been 55 when he retired. I could be wrong on that. It's been a day or two since I thought about that particular fact. But anyway, so my mom was still working, and I was away at school. Just my first year of college when he retired. And so to help my mom out, he decided he would do some of the cooking. My dad did not really like to cook, but he did. He did it to help her out, and I know she appreciated it, and we appreciated it because we got some excellent recipes that he dug out of all the cookbooks my mom had, and one of them was for this potato salad. And to this day, and that was, golly, I'm old now, so that was many years ago. Gosh. 40 years ago, probably, yeah. Pretty close to 40 years ago. Anyway, so we made this potato salad, and it is absolutely delicious. So delicious, in fact, that I pretty much don't like any other potato salad. Never holds a candle to Dad's recipe, so we've got that recipe posted on our refrigerator, and I took it down to make a copy of it when I did that Margaret Miller challenge, and but I couldn't remember what I did with it. I told my husband, I said, I remember setting it aside specifically to make sure it got back down onto the refrigerator, and so that I didn't lose it, because I don't want to lose it, because it was that one and my mom's pumpkin pie recipe. And so we have a plastic clip on the refrigerator, and that's where there we go, there's another one done. That's where the pumpkin pie recipe generally lives. So what I had done was I had put them both back in the clip, and so my husband dutifully went searching for Papa's potato salad recipe, and reported back to me that he had in fact been able to locate it and put it back in the proper space on the refrigerator. So for Easter we will be having Papa's potato salad and thinking about him and my mom, of course. My mom loved all holidays. Loved them. Decorated the house. At one point, I had my Uncle Bill make her a little tree out of a mesquite branch. It had a little stand, and so it was just a really branchy tree. It wasn't a fluffy tree like a Christmas tree would be, but it was perfect for her to put any sort of holiday decorations on it that she wanted. So she would decorate for everything. St. Patrick's Day, Easter, summer. And my dad hated that. And was a bit annoyed with me for making her that tree, but she really enjoyed it. And I always thought it was really fun to see what she'd come up with to decorate it. So my mom was one of those people who loved the dollar store before there was a dollar store. She and my grandmother, when I was growing up. Gosh, what was it called back when I was growing up? Pick and Save, I think, was what it was. And then it became McFrugal's and, oh gosh, that's a couple of other things along the years. But she used to love to go in there and look for little things that would fit on her tree. My mom had quite a zest for life, and she loved stuff. So, okay, well, doing fairly well here. About, 15 minutes in, and I'm halfway done with the third one. Ooh, you think it might be possible that I might break my record of making 6 of something? Shouldn't jinx myself, should I? Okay, let's see. What else we got here? Some paper scraps. That would cover up the whole thing. I will say that is tempting, but I won't do that. I want to have more variety than that. There we go. That's good. So yeah, that's our plan for Easter, so the rainy weather won't negatively impact us. I'm sure we will also be speaking with my cousins in Cornwall. Their family will be down visiting them, so they'll have their daughter and son-in-law and grandsons there for the holiday, and then the boys are going to stay for a few days afterwards, and then they'll take them back home. They live about 3 hours away, I think, depending on the traffic, as everything is, depending on traffic. So, let's see. Did my day volunteering yesterday at the Art Resources Center. My truly happy place. Had a good volunteer session. Excuse me. There's number 3. Didn't have as many volunteers as we usually have, so we were all fairly busy. Just never a bad thing. The time just flies, though, I tell you. Absolutely flies. But got in some really cool stuff. I don't know if it's some stuff that came in from Design Center or Design Students. I wasn't in the back when the stuff came in, but they were books of wallpaper samples, some of them, and other wall covering samples, and some really cool stuff. a few pieces that I brought home with me that I'll be, I think, at least one journal cover that I want to make out of them. It's interesting wallpaper. It's kind of a vinyl-y wallpaper, so they won't make good journal pages, but I think it will make a great journal cover. They sure are pretty. So I called into service a couple of the other volunteer ladies to help me get the book apart that they came in, because obviously it wasn't meant to ever come apart. So between the three of us, a screwdriver, a hammer, and pliers, we managed to get the book apart so I could get some pages out. And my friend Anne, I think, was going to look at taking some of the pages too. She's a card maker extraordinaire. She does beautiful, intricate cards. So I got her thinking about maybe using a little bit of the wallpaper as backgrounds or something in some of her cards. So we'll see. We will see next time I see her if she took some home. Oh, speaking of my friends, I forgot to say hello to my friend Marianne. Hello, Marianne. Hope you're doing well. Still got my sign up. Trying to remember to speak up so I can be heard. Ooh, those are good pieces. So hopefully I'm succeeding at that. An envelope ready to go in the mail to you today for our swap that you and I are doing. Marianne and I always swap with the group that we're in, independent of the group, just the same items that we make for the group, and so it's really fun. It's always fun. It's always fun to get mail. I love to get things in the mail. So I love when we do these swaps. Because I know that I'm going to be getting mail that does not involve bills or any, stuff that's not garbage. But fun, creative things. I love to open the mailbox and see. I got one yesterday, and lady had decorated the envelope. Oh, so pretty! It was such a happy thing to see that in the stack of mail. It's like, oh, how cool! I don't think Diana watches my videos, but if you do, thank you, Diana. That was much appreciated. I'm finally going to get your swap in the mail today. Got everything in the envelopes. I just have to weigh them and put stamps on them and drop them off at the post office. Go out today. I got to go do my haircut, so I'm trying to coordinate all of my outside the house activities since I didn't manage to get those done in time to drop them off when I was on my way back from my exercise classes on Monday. Just couldn't get my act together to get them done. I had them about 90% done, and then I start trying to think about what I want to include in the little bits of happy mail, and I finally got down to business last night and got that all figured out and got all the envelopes dressed this morning and stuffed with a little bit of goodies. Oh, there's 4. That's a really plain one. Let's see. Since I'm doing so well, let's see if I can challenge myself to do one with a bit of color. It's not going to be much color because pretty much everything I have here is book page. Perhaps I should not have chosen that challenge. Oh, sorry. My glue stick's fallen over very loudly. Let's see if I do a narrower one, because I think these strips that I have that are got more color on them are not as wide as the other strips. So let's see. else did I see yesterday when I was at the Ark? Just before I left, we got a fantastic donation of fabric. I'm very tempted to go back and see if it's still there Saturday. Pick up a piece or two from my sister. It was beautiful, beautiful stuff. And lots of it, like, oh no. I missed most of it being put away, and there were still like 5 or 6 bags, not like trash bags, but like good size, the reusable shopping bags that we all use now, kind of that size. So there's quite a bit of fabric in each one. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pieces. So let's see what else we got. I'm not really going much down the road of color here, am I? Not so much. Okay. That's okay. We can always dress them up when we're going to use them. I really think when Margaret did hers were to be page edges. And I may use some of these for that. I know Gail Agostinelli also did some page edges, and hers were really pretty, of course. Gail. I know, Gail, you don't have time to watch, but just in case you're watching, hi, Gail. I have an envelope in my stack for you, too. So we're starting to make plans for the journal retreat in July, and I am fortunate again enough to get to go again this year. Looking forward to it. I think I may have mentioned that before. I got my airline tickets, and it was like 110 days or something to check in when I got my airline tickets. So it's coming. It's coming, and I am really looking forward to seeing my friends and getting to do some really uninterrupted crafting. It's such a joy. Rachel Roxy Creations was talking about when she got to do her Fleur Woods course when she was in Australia recently, and that just what a treat it is to have a day when you don't have to make sure anybody else is happy. You don't have to worry about feeding anybody. Okay, there's number 5. And you just get to be creative and, you know, kind of in your own space. And that's what Gail's retreats are like, too. She has them at a really beautiful quilt retreat center in the town where she lives in Montana, and it's really nice. Most of us get to stay there. I think this year, though, we're going to have some day visitors in for a couple of Gail's friends for locals, which makes me very happy because I really like both of the ladies that are coming. The local ladies that are coming, as well as the other ladies that will be there. So that'll be fun, too, to have that this year. But so we get to stay there and in the quilt retreat. And Gail has the meals catered. Not breakfast, but lunch and dinner catered. So that in and of itself is a super duper treat. Because often here, it's my duty to come up with what we're going to have for dinner. Sometimes lunch and dinner. Which reminds me, my husband first started working from home during the Great Lockdown. He came down the stairs the first day he was home and said, "Well, what are we having for lunch?" And I stopped what I was working on, and my mouth was kind of hanging open, and I said, "Well, I don't know. Normally I have like a yogurt or an apple or something. I don't have a lunch per se." Well, that changed that day. From that day forward, there was going to be lunch. So I, of course, immediately put him in charge of figuring that out most days. So, and he still does that. But since he works from home 2 or 3 days a week, depending on whether it's his Friday week off or not, there's lunch. And I try to manage that as well as I can. I've told you many times about my red lentil soup that I make myself, so I often have that. But he is forever trying to feed me a sandwich or something really carby. Most of the times I can resist, but sometimes I can't. I do enjoy a good sandwich. So, okay, goodness. Let's see. Getting close to half an hour. Okay. I'm going to try to do this one and one more. Since I have not even made a dent in my scraps. There are so many. There are so many. A blessing and a curse, I guess, scraps are. But I really do need to take a day and organize my stuff in all my little crafty flats. Go ahead and trim that off just because it's too nice big scrap. I will probably be able to use it. Okay, all right, let's go with one more. Go with the wide one. Ooh. Since I already glued that partially down to that, apparently it belongs there. Let me trim that kind of wild edge. Go this way. So, goodness, let's see. What other stories I have? Ooh, the sun has gone behind the clouds now. It's getting kind of gray outside. So since Mass Make March is ending, I'm going to have to come up with a project for us to do in April. We did briefly consider Anything Goes April. And that may be what we end up with, especially since I've got all these scraps everywhere. Being too picky. Being too picky, being too picky, being too picky now. Fingers are getting very, very sticky. Very sticky. Oops. That's okay. I will likely be covering up that later anyway. Sort of straight-ish. Oh, good. Actually, that little tear's gonna hang right off the page. Awesome. Just a little bit more of this security envelope. Nope, I need a page in between. You don't like those two together. This works perfectly. Here we go. So, let's see. What else do I have to tell you? I think that's pretty much all of the newsy sort of things that I have. My husband has a all-day meeting today, so he went off looking very handsome in his dress shirt and dress pants. I think he is presenting at this meeting. I know he told me, but I tend to forget these things. So I think today he was doing presentations. So say I wish him well, although he does not need me to wish him well. He will do very well. He always does very well. Those kind of things. This. Okay. This is gonna help. Yeah. Gonna go slightly over the half an hour. Let's go this direction. Trim this off. Wrap this one around because it's really gluey. Wrap this one around too because I put a bit of glue left on that one too. It's still quite wet. Of course, because I just put it on there. Oh, everything's sticking to my fingers. Sticking to my fingers. Okay. Let's see. Where's the glue lid? Let's put the lid on the, excuse me, glue stick. Hi, Bunty. Okay, stay right there, bud. Stay right there, my sweet boy. Okay, we move the majority of the scraps out of the way so that we can kind of see what I managed to accomplish. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay, we did it! End of Mass Make March, and I finally made 7 of something. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll join me again in the future. If you want to see more Mass Make March projects, go on over to Margaret's YouTube channel, 7 Plaza. She's got some. I know Corey Dahman is also doing some. And I'm sure there's others. If you search the hashtag, you will find some more. But anyway, once again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will say bye for now.